Hi, Suzanne.
Hi, John.
I have a few questions to follow up on the story that about your business. So I'll keep this nice and brief for you. And I'm just going to start. I read the article, but could you give me just like a brief history of your business and the inspiration and where and when it was founded? Or don't necessarily need the year, but just the inspiration.
Sure, absolutely. I'm happy to. So, former elementary teacher turned entrepreneur. I was a Michigan elementary teacher in Pinckney, Michigan, outside of Ann Arbor, and had a lot of success with my students in the area of writing, but didn't always start out that way. Actually, it was quite a challenging subject until my principal took writing as an initiative. And then we did a lot of studying, and my kids were having a lot of success every grade from kindergarten to 5th grade. And teachers kept saying, you know, you've got to package what you're doing. It's really working. And so finally in 2007, enough people had said it that I believed that I could do it. And that's when Right Steps was born. And so it was basically my dad and I, and we just kind of was learning as we were going with no business experience or startup experience. And then in 2000, and that was from 2007 to 2010, basically on my efforts alone, we made about a 7% market penetration in Michigan, which is a small number, but just when you think about in the terms of big picture, it's quite a bit for just one person's efforts. And so we knew that we were getting a lot of great testimonials. Teachers were really giving us great feedback. And so in 2010 was a big game changer year with the National Common Core State Standards that came out. And a lot of people don't quite know what those are, but those are standards that we now are holding our children accountable for in all 46 states. Not every state's joined on. And so that means that first graders will be tested the same as first graders in from Michigan to Kentucky or Michigan to Texas, wherever. And so the curriculum, we hired Michigan teachers throughout Michigan, and the curriculum was rewritten, hours and hours, and with a brand new website and a new digital interface called Right Steps, and that's where teachers log in and access their daily lesson plans, visualize everything.
So, okay, very cool.
Yeah, it's really been terrific.
So what's your Grand Rapids presence here now? I know you said you have a virtual organization, but why and when did you come into Grand Rapids?
Right. So we did some research about where, you know, what areas would be best for us to create our kind of home address, and we had some team members in the Grand Rapids area, and they had some connections in Granville, and they said, you know, Granville is a nice address to have, and so we looked into it, and we found that it really suits our needs. And so kind of our home base is in Granville, and then we have team members scattered throughout the nation.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And okay. And how many people do you work with? I know it's a virtual, so that's a difficult number, but do you have people on staff besides yourself that, yeah,
absolutely. So there's 20 team members right now and growing. So we're always looking for, you know, dedicated, talented people. I have an amazing team, and just absolutely very dedicated. They see the kind of legacy that we want to create in helping teachers help students become better writers. And so a lot of former teachers, a lot of people who, you know, this is the first time they're doing the job that they're doing, and we're learning and growing, and very, very talented.
Very cool. And just to clarify my article, I mean, it looks like when you first started that you're focused on K through 5th grade. Is that still correct? Or have you expanded? Okay. So that remains. Is that because of the core? Is that the common core? How does that?
So it is. We're asked a lot to expand up into the middle school, 6th through 8th or 6th through 9th, but all of our experience really is in elementary. That's not to say that we may expand in later years, but really just because, you know, we're former elementary teachers and that was our area of strength.
Okay. I was wondering that as I was looking at that previous article, I wondered if you decided to move, because I teach at the community college, and I can tell you those students need help with their writing still.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how they got to where they.
I know, and that's why we like to get them started young. So.
Okay, how about you mentioned you're always looking for talented people. If somebody's interested in the work you do and they sound like, oh, it's a really cool company, should they go to your website or how should they contact you?
You know, absolutely. Our website has a great wealth of information. You know, we're always looking for possible funding, you know, so any angel investors or VCs, venture capitalists that are interested in, you know, getting behind a company that's really doing very well and growing extremely rapidly and serving a greater good, it's definitely something that we would entertain the idea of. But
Okay. And how about, this kind of goes back a little bit off of the operations and the details, but you know, what are the issues these K through 5th grade teachers face and with teaching and writing? Why is it so challenging?
That's a great question. When we ask teachers, what are your greatest challenges, they always say time. You know, elementary teachers are generalists, they're not specialists, and so they're teaching all the subjects in sometimes just 6-hour, 7-hour day when you take out recess and lunch and, you know, the specials like PE. There's only about 6 hours of instructional time, 6.5, and so just the fact that the time is an issue. And the other issue is knowledge. You know, there's not any writing courses being taught in the universities and colleges that we've seen. And so just teachers coming out of the colleges and not knowing how to teach writing is a huge issue. And when you don't know how to do something, you tend to avoid it. So it's time, knowledge, and then definitely materials would be the third issue that teachers face, is having a lack of quality materials. And that's where we solve the problem for that.
So you help with, you can free up some time, you have the materials, and then you also, besides giving the teachers, I haven't really looked at your site in too much detail, but when they go onto the site, I can get the curriculum. Do you also have train the trainer type of programs? Is that part of what you do?
Yeah, that's right. So we have our Lynn King, who is phenomenal. She was a teacher of 38 years in Ypsilanti, Michigan, and she is an excellent teacher of teachers, and so she does the coaching with the teachers where she does one-on-one with grade level while substitute teachers are covering, and then she the next hour she does next grade, and it really is reassuring for teachers. It allows them to feel like they have a guide on their side and someone can walk them through how to implement the best way possible.
Very good. Okay. So what are your next steps? Are you just right now in the growth mode? You mentioned you were looking for maybe some funding, but you're still growing, expanding to other states. Where are you at now, like in your life cycle?
Sure. Well, it's not even been 2 years since we've launched nationally, and you know, in less than a year, this year we doubled our sales and have 1.2 million in sales. And so we're very pleased and excited about that and know that that's only going to grow to much greater numbers. And so our growth really is to become not only a teacher's writers program, but also a student writers program. So we're going to make a fairly large investment in creating a student app where students can log in and they can access games and quizzes and make it more interactive for the students using iPads or tablets.
Okay, so right now only the teachers really interact with your website, but you're expanding to where students will be able to come on and kind of a mini Khan Academy or some type of...
Exactly, that's exactly right. I mean, the students do interact with the materials when the teacher projects it up on an interactive whiteboard or visual projector. You know, they can come up and they can circle things. So there's definitely an interaction piece, but there's no actual site where the students can log on and it personalizes their education for them. So that's probably one of our biggest next steps.
That's very good. All right, I think I have enough with information from this. I really appreciate you taking your time and introducing me to this GoToMeeting. I've never used it.